Let's talk about that in the context of the huge technological revolution we're in the midst of, and the AI revolution, because you are spending very big on technology, and you've been very aggressive. Can you talk me through how you're thinking about AI and how you're thinking about positioning JP Morgan, and what are you actually doing?
And so we don't look at AI that different than technology. Technology has always been the thing that changes everything we all do. That's been true my whole life, my whole career. So we've always had the head of technology at the management table, and we do any kind of business review. What are you doing in tech? And it could be for finance or HR. It says, what are you doing in tech? How are you going to improve your ops? What are you doing what's better, what other people do? AI, we took it out of tech. They worked close with tech, now has a seat at the table. And so whenever we meet, there's a list of AI. What are you doing in AI? So any one of you, if you worked at JPMorgan, you have your list of what are you doing in AI, what are you implementing? It could be coding, it could be open AI, it could be limited systems. We have 500 use cases, and you got to get better at it. It's very fast, it's changing rapidly. We have an LLM where 150,000 people use that internal data every week. And you just got to make it more to your psyche. And I still think it's the tip of the iceberg. I think this one is faster, is massive. It is like the internet or electricity. It's not going to roll out over 20 years. It's more parabolic for now.
But when you think about the impact of AI, do you think of it as being an efficiency improver? Are you looking at we can improve things across all of these business units, or are you thinking that this is going to reinvent what JP Morgan is at a much more fundamental level?
I think it could be both, so doing things better, faster, quicker, more. So we have use cases in risk, fraud, marketing, errors, customer service, idea generation, hedging. It's used extensively, credit, everywhere. But I do think if you take it to the next step, agents, that could change your business. The speed at which things happen, how people access our systems. So yeah, and that is true for the technology. Remember in the old days, 40 years ago, you called up to do a stock trade. Now you do it on your iPad, you enter it and it goes through algorithms and it gets automatically executed. So it will change the way customers face us. We have to be very adept at saying, what do you want? You're the customer. How do you want to access it? And so yeah, I think it'll change a bunch.
And
it may lead to us winning and losing in big areas. So
do you think it poses a threat to incumbents more? Are you more worried about new fintechs coming much more adept at this than you were before?
Well, this is very important. So if you go back 20 years ago, our competitors were Goldman and Morgan and Wells and Bank of America. As you see, they're all doing well now, all of them. But now we have Stripe and PayPal and FinTechs and Chime and Dave and Sophie and Revolut and these are great companies, and they're coming at you, some to pick a sliver of the business, some to take your whole business. So yeah, I think you have to look at all of that, and if you put your head in the sand, you will lose. I think that was true 30 years ago, but I think it's probably more true today. And the brain power and money that's going into this thing is extraordinary. And so, if we don't do our job faster, quicker, yeah, we'll lose too.
And when you take the experience you've had at JP Morgan, what does it make you think about the impact across the economy? Are you in the camp that, say, someone like Dario Amodei is, half of all entry-level white-collar jobs will be gone in 1 to 5 years? Do you think it is going to be a kind of cataclysmic impact on the labor market?
Yeah, I don't know about that. So here, as a business person, my view is don't put your head in the sand. It is what it is. We're going to deploy it. Will it eliminate jobs? Yes. Will it change jobs? Yes. Will it add some jobs? Probably. It is what it is, and you can hope for the world you want, but you're going to get the world you got, and your competitors are going to use it, countries are going to use it. However, I do think it may go too fast for society. And if it goes too fast for society, that's where government and business in a collaborative way to step in together and come up with a way to retrain and people or move it over time. So you go back, trade adjustment assistance was supposed to do that. If a town loses a factory and they lose jobs, you have income assistance, relocation, early retirement, retraining. We may have to do that, and I think we're doing that already ourselves.
That wasn't exactly a great success. In the U.S. case, it was incredibly poorly done.
It did not work. We need to be prepared to have something that works this time.
But given the speed at which this is happening, and this is, I'm not so much talking about JP Morgan, I'm talking in public policy terms, given the speed at which this technology is coming, what do governments, what does the U.S. government, what do other governments need to be doing right now to prepare societies for that?
I have a plan to retrain people, relocate people, income assist people. I'll give you a thought exercise, okay? 2 million commercial trucks in the United States. It may get to the point where you can push a button, you're going to save lives, it's going to be faster, you're going to save CO2, it obviously makes sense. And should you do it all at once if 2 million people go from driving a truck, making $150,000 a year, to a next job might be $25,000? No, you'll have civil unrest. So therefore, phase it in retrained.
How can you phase in AI?
Just tell them you can't lay off 2 million truckers tomorrow. You can phase it in over.
You want the government to tell you can't lay off a whole bunch of people at JPMorgan?
And we would agree. If we have to do that to save society, remember, it'll be more productive society. So society will have more production. We're going to cure a lot of cancers. You're not going to slow it down. How do you have plans in place to make it work better if, in fact, it does something terrible? And that's the only way to do it.
And that should be done at the level of the government telling companies they cannot lay off?
No, I think it should be done at more of a local level where someone says to a JPMorgan, we give you incentives to put in place to retrain these people. Can you slow this down and give people income assistance? Yeah, we could do stuff like that. We're not going to kill all of our employees tomorrow because of AI. We're just not like that.
Absent that, will in 5 years' time, will JPMorgan have fewer employees than it has now?
Well, if we're good, we'll have, we're growing still around the world. But my guess is it'll be fewer employees, yeah.
In 5 years?
Yeah.
So AI, the technological revolution, is one of the huge changes we're living through.